Hello everyone. Hope all of you are safe and sound. In today's video class, we are going to learn about grammar and also about the poem in Unit 1, The Castle. Hope you all enjoy learning it. Sentence types. There are three different types: simple, compound, complex. Now let us study about the simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence has a subject and a verb. Now let us look at the example. I am a teacher. Ravi reads newspaper. I like apples. She goes to the market. Now, look at the subject and the verb. I is a subject, am is a verb. Ravi is a subject, read is a verb. I is a subject, like is a verb. She is a subject, goes is a verb. Now, what can you understand from these sentences? All these sentences have one subject and one finite verb. So, a simple sentence has only one verb. Remember that very well. A simple sentence consists of only one verb. Very important. It gives us a complete thought. I am a teacher. It makes a complete sense. So, it has a one finite verb, complete thought. So, in the other word, you can call the simple sentence as an independent clause or a main clause. What is a verb? A verb denotes action. You know that. It not only denotes action, it also expresses state of mind, state of being. For example, honey is sweet, milk is white, and so on. So the verb is there. Next we move on to the compound sentences. What is a compound sentence? It has two or more independent clauses. We have learned earlier what is independent clause. It gives you a complete meaning. So in these sentences, we find two different sentences connected with coordinate conjunction. Now let us look at the example. I am a driver. My wife is a teacher. I am a driver and my wife is a teacher. You find two different sentences connected with a coordinate conjunction. This is the coordinate conjunction. You see the first main clause and the second main clause. The compound sentence consists of two main clauses connected with coordinate conjunctions such as but, yet, still, or, and so on. You got it? Now look at the next sentence. I like playing cricket. He likes playing chess. So how will you write this? I like playing cricket, but he likes playing chess. But. So the coordinate conjunction is but. So you are connecting two different sentences with the coordinate conjunction but. Now you find first main clause and the second main clause. Both has verb. So in this compound sentences, there will be two verbs. In the main clause 1, you have a verb am, and the second main clause you have a verb is. Have you understood? So in the compound sentences, you find two or more independent clauses connected with coordinate conjunction. It consists of two verbs. Am, is. You got it? Have you understood? Now let us move on to the next. She was sick. She did not go to school. She was sick, so she did not go to school. And one more thing I would like to tell you, the important thing is, when you are writing the main clause, I am a teacher, I am a driver, and my wife is a teacher. One thing you have to remember in compound sentence, I am a driver. You have to put a comma there. That is very, very important. I am a driver and my wife is a teacher. So this is very important. Have you understood? Compound sentence has two main clauses connected with coordinate conjunctions such as and so, yet, but, still, and so on. At the end of this, I'll be giving you exercises to be completed based on simple sentences, compound sentences and complex sentences. Now let's move on to complex sentences. Now let us see what is complex sentence. Complex sentence consists of one dependent clause connected or joined by one or more dependent or subordinate clause. So again I repeat, earlier you have learned what is meant by independent clause. Independent clause gives a complete sense. Now it is being followed by or connected by one or more dependent clause or subordinate clause. What is meant by dependent clause? Dependent clause is that it does not make a complete sense. It is being dependent on the main clause. Now let us go on to the example. You will find it more easier. I love English because it is interesting. Now in this sentence you have to find out what is the main clause. I love English because it is interesting. I love English. You find this? It is the main clause. It gives you a complete sense. It has a finite verb. So one main clause followed by one or more subordinate clause. Because it is interesting. Does it make sense? No, it does not make sense. So it is dependent on the main clause. Because it is interesting. What is interesting? I love English because it is interesting. So this dependent clause or subordinate clause is being dependent on the main clause. Have you understood? When he came home, his mother kissed him. When he came home, does it make a proper sense? No. So it is subordinate, dependent clause. It is dependent on the main clause. His mother kissed him. So this makes a complete sense. So complex sentence has one main clause followed or connected or joined by one or more subordinate clause. Next example. Even though the exam was quite difficult, all the students passed. Even though the exam was quite difficult, does it give you a proper sense? No. It is a subordinate clause, dependent clause. So it is dependent on the main clause. All the student pass. This makes a complete sense, main clause. So you can always ask a question. For complex sentence, you can give a question. All the student passed. Makes sense. Even though the exam was quite difficult, what happened? All the students passed. So it will give you a result. Have you understood? Next example. He was late because the traffic was heavy. He was late is a complete sentence, main clause. Because the traffic was late. Because the traffic was late, what? What happened? He was late. Why? Got it? Dependent clause and subordinate. Subordinate junction. All these subordinate junction, we call it as when, even though, although, though, until, if. So subordinate clause will begin with these subordinate junction. Always remember that. Now, let us see these examples. You will be able to recollect what is simple sentence, compound sentence and complex sentence. Now let us move on to this. In spite of her illness, she went to work. Sentence 1. She was ill but she went to work. Sentence number 2. Although she was ill, she went to work. So all these three sentences have the same meaning. The meaning does not change. Only the structure changes. Have you got my point? In spite of her illness, she went to work. Same idea. She was ill, but she went to work. Same meaning. Although she was ill, she went to work. So same meaning, all three sentences, only the structure changes. So the structure is simple, compound and complex. Can you identify what is simple, what is compound and what is complex in these three sentences? As I told you, simple sentence consists of only one finite verb and it has a subject and a verb. It makes a complete sense. Compound sentence, two main clauses connected with coordinate conjunction. Complex sentence, one main clause followed by one or more subordinate or dependent clause. Now let us see. In spite of her illness, she went to work. One verb, she went to work. You got it here? Verb. So it is simple sentence. She was ill, but she went to work. Two main clauses followed by conjunction, coordinate conjunction. It is a compound sentence. Have you understood? Now come to the third point. Although she was ill, she went to work. Now you have to find out the main clause in complex sentence. What are the main clause? She went to work. This is the main clause. So main clause, then you have although she was ill. So this subordinate clause is dependent on the main clause. So it begins with also. Subordinate conjunction. So this is complex sentence. Is it clear? Simple, compound, compound. Already you have learned this in earlier classes, but this is just a recap for you. If you understand this format properly, transformation of sentence will be much easier for you to understand, which is there for your 12th standard exam, which carries 2 marks. Easy grammar. You will be able to understand, first understand these rules properly. Have you understood? Now, following this, I have given an exercise for you based on simple sentences, compound sentences and complex. Few sentences. So you do it at home. Let us see who gets a full mark. You will be getting a surprise gift. Is it clear? You will be wondering, what is this clause? This was just mentioning main clause, main clause. What is a clause? Well, I'll teach you in the next class. It will be much clearer. But for you to understand, clause is a group of words which consist of subject and a predicate. Can function a sentence. That is called as a clause. Phrase. What is a phrase? Phrase is also a group of words but does not have a subject and a verb. That is what? Clause and phrase. The difference between clause and phrase. Clause is a group of words which consists of subject and a predicate. Can function as a sentence. Whereas phrase does not have a verb and a subject. Is it clear? Here are a few sentences for you to practice on what we have learned just now. Simple, compound and complex sentences. Pause the video and go through it. You will love doing it. Enjoy it.